Right. Hello. Welcome again to our third spring meeting of the Doula Association of Alberta. And I'm just very thrilled to have you here. Um, you'll have to forgive me. I have a massive head cold. Um, so you're going to get my sniffles. And I promised the girls when we were logging in that I'll mute if I have to go snot. All right. Um, but I would first just love our beautiful Vice President, April Fremiak, just to lead us through a land acknowledgement as we get our meeting started this evening.
We acknowledge that we are on traditional territories in Alberta of the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our community. We recognize the land as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on or are visiting. We acknowledge the history of birth on these lands where First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people were the first birth protectors. We are grateful for the opportunity to connect on this land.
Thank you so much, April. So again, just welcome. And it's an absolute honor to be able to gather with just extraordinary people from our community this evening. We are going to share some information about the association tonight and just what some things we have going on that are coming up for the future year. And so without further ado, I would like to invite our administrator extraordinaire, who wears many hats in our association, Heather, if she could let us know about some insurance updates and a bit of some membership reminders.
Hi, sorry, I've got lots of screens open, which
That's
is
okay.
what my life is always like. All right, yeah, so I'm Heather Hill and glad to be here tonight and to see all your faces and see your names. I have probably communicated with you in some way over email if you are a member, because I check that inbox and have read your notes if I haven't replied back. And then, of course, if you have any questions about insurance, I am also the contact person for that. So just a little update on insurance, like really not much has changed at this point for our DAA membership insurance. So we'll continue to have that. It will renew again with ProLink in the end of September for October 1st. So if you're wanting continuous membership, then you'll just need to do your membership renewal and submit that insurance document again. Just a little reminder about what our insurance covers. So we have doula services that are covered, which includes birth, postpartum, fertility doula, pregnancy and loss doula. And then the other things, modalities that are listed on our coverage are non-invasive ambulatory pre and postnatal services, which is like if we're like helping with some basic tasks in the postpartum or even during a birth, like we can give a mom a face cloth and we can like help with like, you know, things like that, getting in and out of the shower, like some of those hands-on things is what's covered in that. Lactation and breastfeeding consultations. So if you're a consultant or an IPCLC, that would be covered under insurance. Pregnancy apparel consultations, so baby wearing, infant and car seat seminars. If you're a trainer for that, it's covered. And then childbirth educator. So if you do things outside of that, our insurance with the DAA does not cover those things. But just, yeah, it's actually quite a comprehensive list. So that's what will be renewed again, as far as I've been told, from ProLink for next year. I did want to just kind of make a mention. ProLink in the past has offered an insurance coverage outside of the Doula Association membership to doulas, and you could choose like several modalities from a long list to be covered, and doula was one of those things. However, that provider for insurance is no longer going to cover doula services outside of the DAA group policy. So basically, if you're wanting your doula services covered, we will need to use the DAA membership and our group policy that way. I just know, like, for myself, I had some other modalities that I was also able to cover through that private insurance that now I can't access that. So the DAA membership will still include the doula coverage, but their separate policy, if you were in that boat, will no longer cover doula work. So you may have to also become a member if you're not already. Hopefully that makes sense to people. And also just a little reminder for insurance, if you are going on a leave, or if you are like no longer going to be practicing as a doula, but you still want to have professional liability insurance for your past doula work, there is that option to have a coverage even when you're not practicing, that's at a lower rate. So if you're in that boat, reach out to me and I can give you some more details on that. Any questions about insurance or feedback? If you don't want to mute and you want to put it in the chat, you can do that, or you can also email just the day inbox.
And we actually, just a note too, like we actually don't find out if there's going to be a change in the rates. I think it's usually until July.
August, yeah, like August, I think, is often when we get our new rates.
Yeah.
And last year they did go up. I'm anticipating that it may go up again, hopefully not, you know, quite as much as last year. We did kind of try to adjust. So we passed some of that cost on to members directly, but the DAA also absorbed a little bit of that so that it wasn't quite as big of a jump. So we'll have to assess when we get
and
it.
I think we'd look at doing something like that again, where the DAA would kind of subsidize everybody's membership a little bit to buffer that out. So yeah. Okay, wonderful. Sorry, I was admitting a couple people into the meeting. Did you by chance touch base about education? You
Not
did.
yet. No.
Oh, you didn't. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I'll let you keep going. Welcome everyone who just joined. We're just chatting about insurance, but there is a recording, so you'll be able to catch up on the first few minutes of the meeting. So welcome.
I see Kathy's not muted. I don't know if you have a question, Kathy.
No, I just came in, so I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, welcome, Kathy.
Hi.
So I'm just gonna make a little quick note about membership here. I've covered this role in the past as the membership coordinator, and Chelsea is currently in the role but couldn't make it tonight. She got called off to a birth. So just a quick note about membership. We again appreciate all of you who have become members. Let us know if there's any issues around that membership renewal when it comes up, or if you have questions about that. And then just a note about the continuing education, which is part of membership as well. So we do ask members who have been a member for the full year to submit 10 hours of continuing education each year. If you joined mid-year, then we do prorate that. So you can either do the math yourself, or we can let you know how many credits you need if you joined mid-year. But yeah, you can start to submit those credits at any point during the membership year. So if you've already done like the peanut ball workshop, or you've done your 10 hours of credits, you can submit those through the form on the website. And then we'll keep track of those as people submit throughout the year. And if not, then you will need to submit when you renew for next year's renewal for the previous year's continuing ed credits. And also just a reminder about what we accept is really anything at all birthing related. We try to keep it very open. They don't need to be official CEU credits. They can be, your own self-learning. They can be webinars, they can be podcasts you've listened to, books you've read. If you've done a first aid course, like anything that's related to your work as a doula, but it doesn't need to be a specific approved credit. We just want to see that you are active and you're keeping up as much as you can within your ability in the birthing world. So.
Mhm. And someone asked me recently, okay, so if I read a book, does that count? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Well, then how can I prove to you that I read the book? So when you submit, you can like take a picture of it. And even if you wanted to do like a little bit of your thoughts on it, how you think it could be helpful with your work, or maybe not helpful. Do not recommend. But yeah, like some kind of note or a personal opinion or position about a podcast or something like that. There's also in your membership area a lot of access to like free or low cost trainings and things. We try to update that list once or twice a year. And so if there's something that you're looking kind of to do, that's a really good place to go look as well. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you.
Millie?
April.
Yeah.
Sorry. The other thing, just for anyone that's really new as well, or for people outside of the community that have joined us, any of our presentation like training meetings also count. So whether that's one of our members speaking on like the one I did on car seat safety or any of the other sessions, we always count those as your continuing education as well. So if you attend those meetings, that also goes towards your hours.
We try through the whole year to like over and above those hours for you, or at least make it available to be able to get them. So yeah, and anyone that isn't meeting that requirement, we do touch base with you before just sort of dissolving membership, and we like a payment plan for our clients, we'll check in and work it out so that it can, because life happens, right? So we need to support one another in our ebbs and flows of that. So yeah, awesome. Thanks, April. So Vicky is one of our Alberta Health Services representatives, and so is Heather. And Vicky's out of birth. So Heather, I'm just going to welcome you to continue to take the floor. If you could maybe give us an update. I know that the committee is kind of fresh, new turnaround with that. Is there anything that you have at this time to sort of share that's gone on since elections and the new committee members have formed?
Yeah, so I was also away for our last meeting, so I am going off of the minutes and an update that Vicky gave to me. So the new committee formed kind of at the end of March, beginning of April, and we did meet as a subcommittee on 2 occasions since then, just to kind of clarify roles and make sure we can all communicate with one another and have access to documents and things like that. And then there was a meeting scheduled with AHS, and our committee is comprised of doulas, and some of us are appointed by the DAAs, some are elected through the community, and then there's also the co-chair that is like in agreement with the AHS committee co-chair. They're co-chairs together. I don't know. Anyway, there's some other appointed people from AHS side that sit on this committee. And yeah, so we meet 3 times a year with AHS, and then we try to meet monthly as a subcommittee of doulas to discuss where things are at. So the new people to this committee have met a couple times, and we've had one AHS meeting that was canceled, and then another then it was rescheduled within a month, which is progress, because in the past that's been an issue too. Anyway, so they had a meeting on May 14th with AHS, and I'm just going from the minutes here. They approved the agenda, and And then they reviewed a document that's been in the works for about the last year and a half, which is an AHS document that outlines the role of doulas. So they have finalized that document. We had submitted some edits that we wanted to see happen with some of the wording of the document. That kind of went back and forth to AHS and back to us a few times without it actually those edits ever being made. My understanding is that those edits have been submitted now through AHS, like their legal department, their communication department, and they have a finalized document, which may or may not actually include the edits we requested, but it is at a finalized stage. And Vicky has put in a request to AHS for us to actually get the final draft of that document that has been approved. And then we're in the stage of just trying to roll out that document to AHS staff and doing some education with staff about doulas and the role, and using the AHS document as kind of the foundation of that. But we've also built a presentation from our subcommittee about the role of doulas and just trying to educate staff. We're hoping that by fall we'll have some times actually scheduled with AHS staff, and the format we're looking at is like lunch and learns. We're also hoping to record an educational setting so that it can be shared in a virtual format with staff. And rolled out that way across the province. But fall is the timeline we're working towards with that. And then the only other note is that the structure of the committee on the AHS side may be shifting slightly. So the people that are involved on that side are suggesting that we do more of a collaboration with the perinatal health program instead of more of the administrative side, and that's who's involved right now for an ongoing kind of basis. So that transition may also happen in the fall with some new people from the AHS side involved in the committee. That's what I know.
So
I
just
see a note.
Yeah, there's some in the chat here. Asha, does this mean that doulas will be held accountable to these standards or will be removed? Or is this just to let medical professionals know what doulas do? And actually, before you answer that, sorry, I just have a question. Will this document, or maybe it is already, be available to us like as birthwork communities before that circulation in the fall?
Yes, so that's why Vicky is trying to get her hands on the official document.
Okay.
In the minutes that were sent out from that meeting, I think that they saw the document, and then it was referenced in the minutes, but it wasn't an actual PDF of it. So we're trying to get our hands on it. But yes, as soon as it's approved from AHS, then we can share it with the doula community.
Okay.
And circulate it, because it will be helpful to us as doulas to kind of know how the staff are being educated about our role as doulas too, so that we can kind of fall back on that if we're ever having kind of some dispute about our role, or there's questions about why we're doing certain things. We can be educational to the staff as well and say, hey, there's actually a document from AHS that talks about doulas and our role.
Great. And
so
also, if there was any questions from our community before it kind of rolls out, that you guys could take on our behalf. So that's wonderful that that's been requested. So hopefully that there's follow through with that. Thanks,
and
Heather.
my sense from reading this and from the chat, within our subcommittee is that this document may be kind of at a point where that's as many revisions as AHS is going to kind of do with it. So we just need to kind of roll with it. But when we do our lunch and learns, it'll be a more like comprehensive educational piece about our role in general. And the document will just kind of be a baseline, hey, it's out there.
Exciting, really good. Sorry, I kind of, I know that April has her hand up, but there was that question from Asha there that was in the chat.
Okay. So, I mean, it's not a regulatory document. So it's not something where like we have to like follow these rules necessarily to be permitted in the center. It's more of an educational document to say this is what the role of a doula is. I don't know how staff might interpret that if there was a conflict or there was an issue where, I guess if a doula was going out of scope in general, you know, and nothing in that document is outside of our scope, or doesn't fall within our scope. So there shouldn't be an issue with that document, you know, creating potential for us to be held to a standard that's not within our scope. But the intention of the document, like it has nothing in there that says, you know, that, you know, we need to be like reported or, you know, anything like that if we're not following through. That's not the intention. It's an educational document to really support our role within our scope as doulas.
I think the right language might be, Heather, because I remember from like early versions of this document, like it's very simple. Like it's very like this is for nurses and doctors and people in the hospital that, for example, never heard or seen a doula. Like it's really, really simple. So like Asha, just from a concern perspective, I would say like it's very basic. Like it is literally to educate people who we are and what we do. It's not meant for anything else.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Michelle's question was what I asked. So Michelle, was there anything else that for clarification?
No, what you said was exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
I mean, I also put eyes on the document, I think well over a year ago, and I haven't seen since. So super happy to have the representation that we have at this table now. And just thank you so very much, Heather and Vicky, for coming forward for that and making a capacity for it, because it means a lot to the association. And also thanks to the other members of that group and everyone who put their name forward to be a part of and support this committee.
And one other note I'll just say is that if you want to like have access to any updates from the committee, there is a way that you can subscribe. It's like a MailChimp newsletter. So we just put all of our minutes from our meetings with AHS into this website, so you can subscribe there.
We also
when I'm not, I think it's also on the Day website.
Under our news. Yeah.
When I'm not talking, I will look it up and put it in the chat. I can't multitask.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Heather, you're off the hook now.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So our education officer is Erin Moyen, and she was not available tonight. So I'd like to welcome back April Kremrich, our vice president, and I will help support anything that needs to kind of come out of this next conversation piece. Let's talk about some fun. Let's talk about what's coming up for 2024-2025 membership year. I can't believe that it'll be our 4th year coming up. That's wild. Take it away.
Wow. Thanks, Millie. So the DAA is planning something really exciting for the fall of 2025. So yes, we're going into the fall of 2024, but the scope of what we're hoping to undertake for 2025 is so big that 2024 is going to look a little different, so we can plan for 2025. So we are hoping that to plan an in-person doula retreat in the fall of 2025. So at this time, we're looking at venues available in and around central Alberta to be geographically accessible to birth workers from all over the province. And as soon as we have some additional information, obviously we will share that. But at this point, Erin, our education coordinator, along with a handful of other DAA members, have started to work on that project already. And we'll be looking for further support from membership as something takes hold in the near future. So watch for some call outs for some support for Erin as that continues to plan. So we really are looking forward to sort of like the bigger and better thing that we can support as a community from a training and community collaboration perspective the fall of 2025. So what that means is in addition to that retreat, DAA is going to plan some more like small scale webinars, training like sessions for education in the 2024-2025 year leading up to that fall. And so some of the ideas so far that have been considered and talked about on the table are things like to do with business. So a session to do with business, supporting the business side of our work, looking very specifically at some postpartum topics and potentially even a panel supporting up some postpartum topic discussion. We also have been able to have someone potentially connect us with some loss, a session on loss and some nurses that are involved in loss in our province, as well as fertility, the conversation around fertility doulas and that direction. We are also going to put out, and Millie, this is a part I'm like, I don't know if I have it handy, but we have a link, we have a survey link. So we are looking for.
Sorry, is Christy Cooper here?
She was, but I think she left.
Yeah, I think she was headed. Okay.
But we do have a link to a survey that we will give in the comments. Plus, it'll be on our social media and Facebook and in the follow up to the meeting to look for ideas. So to continue of what our community is interested in hearing about in the next year leading up to that big fall retreat that we're hoping for. So what that likely looks and feels like from now until then for the next membership year, sorry, not calendar year, is no other kind of big in-person trainings. Like we're not exploring big in-person trainings or any larger scale, we'll call it expensive online trainings, so that from a budget perspective, we are really planning to kind of go big for that fall 2025.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to grab that link somewhere. It's coming. My computer is going slow. Yeah. So Retreat Hub was like a vision of mine when this thing was all coming together, this association. I was like, we gotta have retreat. Everybody was like, okay, Millie, like let's just get the ball rolling on things. So I can't wait to support the committee with this. And like April said, there's going to be a lot of opportunity coming for the next membership year. We have elections coming up for board positions, and those will be posted in July, maybe early August, what's coming up. So those people who are interested in some of those board and team positions can kind of read up on it and in the protocol book and decide if it's something that's a good fit for them. I'm not finding this link. Sorry, April. My computer is not multitasking. I was like, I'll save it to my notes and I'll upload it. I can do this.
I found it.
You did? Okay, amazing.
I'm just trying to get edit access because for some reason it doesn't want me to open it.
Okay.
So I'm working on it.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll get it up there. And then we'll also, we can include it. This video will be on our YouTube channel, so we'll include it in the comments section there. And then we'll also put it up in our public Facebook page too. So the whole community, because of course the trainings and learnings, the majority of them that we do bring, we do want to welcome the greater community, not just the membership, in with them as well. So we'll make sure that we get that link out there. We want to hear from you and what it is you want to learn about, or maybe you know someone that has something that's a wonderful offering for our community. So thank you. All right. That's really the meeting. That's the meat and potatoes of it. But I usually close these meetings and I kind of wish everyone well, and I say, like, go do something good for yourself. And while I do wish everyone well, and I do want you to do good things for yourself, I've had something on my mind that I just wanted to share with you all, and really just a little bit of a spin of a farewell. I really want to talk about just the closeness and unity of our community and how important that is. Just with things that are going on in the world, even close to home. And I always get emotional. So sorry, I have a cold. So if I get emotional, but I think it's really important. There's just really no better time than right now to connect with our colleagues, to really cheer them on, elevate them, to not let jealousy creep in. Different people have different capacities at different times of their life. And really, jealousy is something that if you feel that way, or if you feel self-doubt because someone has greater capacity for their calendar, their clientele amount, or their social media, or their website, really, the jealousy is a feeling that it's something that's actually a message to you that's saying that you are actually, that is all available to you too. So if you find yourself in that, and I've been having some conversations with people over the last few months about this, that's really what it is. So maybe lean into that. That's actually available to you. And building these connections, working together to do that is really going to just foster that unity between us. The same as what we do for our families that we work with in our community. We really need to do that for each other and for one another. And I do see that happening and growing within this association, within this team, and really with the growing amount of members in our association. That also is a testament to that. But I think if we can all come together to kind of heal our sisterhood wound and just be together and support one another in a really great capacity, we're really going to be making just the changes to the world that we want to see. And so what I'm welcoming you to do is to reach out to a colleague, let them know what a great job that they're doing, and just fill your heart with love that way. Because I think that a lot of our colleagues are really needing that right now. And I was really happy to share this with you all, with even being a public meeting, because the greater community, not just being a member of the Doula Association of Alberta, like, we care about one another and we are all in this together. So with that, I want to wish you a wonderful evening. And I want to thank this team who put tireless hours into making this association work, and for your passion and your expertise. For all of you, thank you so much for what you do for our community, because it truly is beautiful what we do.
Millie, can I add something to your closing remarks as well?
Yeah, for sure.
I think a good follow-up to everything you talked about too is, I know every year with this association, we're learning and growing and changing. And I think there's also really great opportunity for collaboration and community and connection in some of the sessions that, like Christy and Lindsay and other co-hosts of the association, when they do those sessions, that there's some really great opportunities for people to take advantage of those and to connect with one another and to debrief and to learn from one another. I think those sessions, there's an opportunity to make those really successful. And the other thing that I thought about, and I know our Facebook page, like our Facebook group's not that active and not a lot of people kind of connect on there, which we're working on and trying to change. And for example, Christy Cooper posted tried to create some dialogue the other day, which I thought it's probably a couple of weeks ago now, but I really loved that. I really loved that as a way for everyone to collaborate together. And I was super excited about it. And at the moment, I didn't have anything to add to it, but I think there's other opportunities like that we can all share and connect and learn from one another in those various spaces to, kind of just keep things, going and learning and connecting, as we can all learn from each other more than I think we realize, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, April. Celine, I see your comment there. Is there a way to change the Facebook page so we can post on it? So go ahead and make your post, and then we can just come in and we'll push it through. Yeah.
I will just make a note too, like we do have an upcoming birth worker and business coaching call on May 30th. That's on the website as an event coming up. I don't know off the top of my head which of us is hosting it, but I have attended a few over the last year as kind of support and then facilitating. And I I really love like the energy at those meetings, because it's more of a dialogue. We ask you to like submit any questions you have beforehand, but it can be anything from like, I'm a brand new doula and I have no idea where to start, to like, I had this complex case and I wanted to brief it with somebody, or how do you manage it? And there's been some really great discussions about like how we work as doulas, and just sharing our knowledge and our experience. So I encourage members to come out to that, whether you're new or have been doing this for a long time. It's always a great discussion. So,
and it's such a great group to meet other people who might even be like in your community that you never thought of them, and you need some backup at some point, or if you don't work like within a group, that you can potentially have a jumping off point as well. So and I see, April, that you're kind of troubleshooting Celine there. So we will for sure make it possible for you to be able to post in there. If you want to even just connect Celine with maybe April or myself, and we can definitely troubleshoot that with you. And I was going to make mention about your post today, April, about placenta encapsulation and Red Deer. And that's why I love our group too, because it's like, hey, is there somebody like in Grand Cache that's doing this? And you can just kind of pop in and ask, and people will answer. So it's such a wonderful group to connect in. So yeah, we'll make sure that Selena, sorry, I was calling you Selena, I apologize, that we get that sorted for you. All right. Does anybody, like, we have a few minutes, does anybody want to share or ask a question about the association, or share a win, or have a question on a complicated case we can all have a supportive conversation about? Everybody wants to go drink their tea because they're watching me drink my tea. All right. Well, thank you everyone again. It's just with much gratitude that you made time for this evening, and continue to do the good work that you do. And just know that we're here to support you. Connect anytime, one-on-one if you need it for support. Retreat 2025. Woo-hoo.
Start
Fun.
booking down your fall 2025. Put it in your calendars.
You already put it in mine. I put the whole month of October. Blocked it. Yeah. All right.
Thanks for your time, Millie. I appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, appreciate you too. Thanks so very much. All right. Good night, everyone. Be well.